All right, boys, we're back. We finally made it. We're here to talk movies again. And Graham, you had a request that we talk about some movies that we want to bag on. We want to talk about bad movies today, and we're going to have some visual elements to assist in the bagging on of bad movies. So hopefully you guys came somewhat prepared. If not, I've got some other things we can talk about. First and foremost, I mentioned to you earlier today, we have to start this episode with a eulogy for one late great Robert Redford, who passed away earlier this morning at the ripe old age of 89. In case you guys are unfamiliar with Robert Redford, he was a real one. Like I said, died at 89. Brief history of him, if you don't have any background knowledge, he was born in Santa Monica. Quickly grew up and participated in theater and was a television actor, and then broke into like major film in like the 1960s. Probably best known for his role as Sundance Kid in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid from 1969. If you guys have never seen that, great dynamic duo kind of film. Also a Western. Him and Paul Newman then reunited in 1973 for The Sting, which won Best Picture that year and earned Redford his only Oscar nom for Best Actor. Later on in the 70s, he would go on to do films like The Way We Were, which I believe he was opposite Barbra Streisand, The Great Gatsby, and obviously All the President's Men. Ethan, I know that's a big one for you.
Love that movie.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Another one, this is a fun little fact here, and I assume you guys know this, but I saw some interesting reactions online when I was reading up. Another one, so in 1972, there was a movie called Jeremiah Johnson, in which case, Robert Redford played the titular character. It was directed by Sidney Pollack, famous director back in the day. There's a lot of just like fun story around the film of it as well. So Redford and Pollack basically had to go to Warner Bros. And convince them to film on location in Utah, which we'll come back to in a minute, and B, the studio was offering him $4 million for the movie. And there's like I don't want to say famous quote, but Redford has talked about previously in interviews about how if the money doesn't come back for, in the box office or whatever, Warner Bros. Said that the money's going to directly come out of his hide. So it was a good old 70s threat for you. So obviously they went and shot the movie in Utah. They got to shoot on location, and it was just an absolute smash success. So on a budget of about $4 million, it grossed about $45 million. It was the sixth highest grossing film in 1972 that year. In case you guys haven't seen it, you can direct your attention to my stream. If you've ever seen this guy,
yes,
Yep.
This is one Robert Redford as Jeremiah Johnson in that movie.
I was gonna bring it up if you didn't bring it up.
Yeah. one famous meme, obviously, on the internet. So a few more things just to outline his career. So in 2002, he was awarded a Lifetime Achievement Award in the form of an honorary Oscar. 2017, the Golden Lion for Lifetime Achievement at Venice Film Festival. 2019, honorary Caesar at the 44th Caesar Awards in Paris. Continuing down this absolute legendary legacy, 1996, National Medal of Arts presented to him by President Bill Clinton. 2010, appointed Chevalier of the Legion d'Honneur by President Nicolas Sarkozy, French president at the time, which, based off a quick Google, the title Chevalier in the Legion d'Honneur in France is essentially like the comparison to being like knighted in England. 2016, President Barack Obama honored him with the Medal of Freedom. And 2005, he received the Kennedy Center honors for the contribution to American culture. In the 80s, he goes on to start his directorial debut with the movie Ordinary People. It actually won him Best Picture and Best Director that year. And then would go on to direct films like A River Runs Through It, that has Brad Pitt in it from 92, and Quiz Show in 94. We're almost done here. I want to make sure that we pay the man his dues. So in case you're unfamiliar with him, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. The Sundance Kid is Robert Redford's character in that movie. He is a huge activist later on in his life, and he goes on to kind of champion independent filmmakers and things of that nature in the arts. So he goes in Utah. Once upon in the 60s, I think he bought like 2 acres of land for something like $500 is the story. And he builds a home there with his first wife. And then later on in his life, he goes back and he hosts what is now known as the Sundance Film Festival, named after his character.
Oh, that's no way.
In that movie. Yeah. So in 1980, he founded the nonprofit org, the Sundance Institute, obviously the culminating around the film festival, held in Park City, Utah is the place. He actually bought that land and renamed it Sundance. A lot of young filmmakers had their kind of break into the industry there. Steven Soderbergh with his debut Sex, Lies, and Videotape, Tarantino with Reservoir Dogs, and Ryan Coogler with Fruitvale Station. So just to name a few. Obviously, he's got some later movies in the 80s, like The Natural. Lucas, we were just talking about that recently. Fantastic baseball movie. Out of Africa and All Is Lost. Some people nowadays might know him better as Alexander Pierce, I think, who showed up in Captain America Winter Soldier. And I think he had like a brief cameo in Avengers Endgame. Yeah. So the man did it all. And was an absolute legend, born in like the 30s. He was the man. He was around, beloved by everyone, absolute legendary filmmaker, actor, director, activist, champion for the arts. Unbelievable. And if anybody potentially listens to this in the future, there is a book, Robert Redford, the biography by Michael Feeney Callan, that is apparently, mostly well regarded as kind of just a biography about his life. So if anyone wants to dive into film and they're curious about Robert Redford, I would recommend any kind of research that they can do. So rest in peace. Pour one out for the homie. It was a sad day today when I learned that news. So real quick, Slaughter, I think you mentioned that you might have a funny Robert Redford story to lighten the mood.
Oh yeah. So funnily enough, Jeremiah Johnson is the only movie I've seen with him in it.
Okay.
So,
all right.
And my introduction to that was like when I was like 17 or 18. My uncle was like, it was like later at night, he was drinking. He was like, you've never seen Jeremiah Johnson? And I was like, no, I don't know. Like, must be a cool movie, like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, something like that. And then he sits me down, we watch it, and I feel like the first 45 minutes doesn't have like any dialogue. It's just him just trekking through the backwoods and everything. That's what it feels like anyways. Like when you're that age, you're like, man, it's crazy. It's like a 3-hour movie. I just sat down and watched it. And of course he like puts it on and it just passes out like immediately after like 5 minutes. So the next day, he forgot that we had already had this conversation. And my family, who was always, we're good at shit stirring. So his wife's like, yeah, he hasn't seen Jeremiah Johnson. He's like, you haven't seen Jeremiah Johnson? And it puts it on again.
No, not again.
So there was an entire summer I watched Jeremiah Johnson like 15 times against my will. Yeah. So
yes. So you understand that your uncle is a big fan of the double feature, Jeremiah Johnson, followed by Jeremiah Johnson.
Oh yeah,
it's the best JJ.
Robert Redford double feature. Yeah. So, all right, I needed to start off with that, so we can pivot into the fun and funnies of what Graham wanted to do today. So I have YouTube pulled up on the stream. Hopefully, you guys can see it. We're gonna just watch some trailers and I guess rag on some bad movies per Graham's request. So Graham, would you like to kick us off? Is there a particular movie that you want to talk about that you think was so bad that we can make fun of it?
I was so excited for House of Gucci. I was excited for the people in it. I was excited for the setting. I was excited for the plot. And it was nothing like the trailers. Even just it's just just watch the trailer.
Well, I'm not going to sit here in silence and watch a trailer, but okay. I'm a little familiar with the movie. Has anyone else here watched House of Gucci?
No.
I know it's a relatively recent release.
So I went to see this movie in theaters because I was like, clothes. I was expecting some sort of like, essentially like a mob movie.
Okay.
From like the perspective of like people selling clothes. I was like, this is going to be awesome. It's like, Italian mob situation, but with Lady Gaga and what's his face, Adam Driver. And I was like, oh, perfect. These are two, like, one person who's trying to get in it. She did some of the music for the actual movie, and then it's all shot in like Tuscany. So I was like, oh, this is gonna be just like badass. No, this is a movie that has barely anything about the clothes. There is barely any exposition about any of the characters other than the bitching that they did about either of their problems. So, like, all of these shots you see are the best shots out of the movie. The rest of the movie are complaining in static rooms and nothing about freaking clothes the whole time. I was like, oh, awesome. This is going to be a story about, like, basically the Devil Wears Prada.
Murder.
Yeah. It was so disappointing. It had such a great cast and a great setting, and everything was lined up. The money was right, and they just absolutely screwed the pooch, in my opinion.
If they didn't outline everything in the trailer, just because I wasn't watching it 100% the whole time, this movie stars Lady Gaga, Adam Driver, Jared Leto, Jeremy Irons, and Al Pacino, and it is directed by one Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
I know. Dude, I was like, how did they screw up this movie? It was kind of insane because as I'm sitting there watching it, I'm just like, I want the handbag Sultan. That was the movie I wanted. I wanted to have this this mobster living on the coast of it, like one of the coasts of Italy, and just running this bag empire. And it wasn't that. It was this whole startup from the beginning of Adam Driver's character goes through like all of this texture on how he ends up getting the company and like how it doesn't do well, and it's such a flop. It's just like the entire story goes, hey, here's this big empire. This is what I want to see. I want to see the horrible, just gritty nature of these people trying to make it in like the business sense of this whole thing. And it didn't deliver on anything. It was essentially a rom-com without the com. And they went through their whole divorce and they go through all this other stuff. They spend like 40 minutes of the end of the movie where it was going to be like, oh, they're starting to make like duplicates of these bags for cheap. And somebody walks in and like the guy yells at her. And like, that's it. That's the whole buildup. They spend 20 minutes of the movie building up this whole scene. And then the lady comes in and she's like, yeah, she doesn't work here anymore. I'm like, no, I wanted to see her in the back room just getting flensed by this bag. I didn't want, I didn't get anything I wanted out of this movie, and it was just a completely different movie than I was expecting, and I did not like it. I think it actually did well.
Took your money and your time from you, it sounds like.
I still want the movie I want, though. I think I want the exact same cast. I just want Ridley Scott to flush his first freaking idea.
Damn, that's tough.
Yeah, sorry. I really was excited for this movie.
The good thing about this movie, it's that it's a crisp 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Oh my
dude,
God.
It was so long. Hold on, that scene, that scene of him going through the Italian countryside in his loafers, incredibly badass scene. It's him going between two of their residences in the Alps. There's no dialogue. It's just a time filler. That whole scene was a time filler, so it means nothing in the trailer.
Ridley Scott is a visionary.
He fucked this one up.
I stand by.
I completely agree.
Let's just watch Steve Martin Short just have a good time.
I mean, that's why everybody.
Yeah, I'm an all the play guy.
I think my opinion on it is anything that Jared Leto touches at this point is pretty much gonna go down the drain immediately.
When was the turn though? When was the turn?
When was the up? When did he go up?
I think the turn was when he left 30 Seconds to Mars.
Did he leave 30 Seconds to Mars?
I think the turn was when he decided to become an actor. Was the problem?
Yep.
Thin Red Line, Fight Club, American Psycho.
Listen, man, he's an auxiliary character in most of those.
Requiem for a Dream,
and it's like
Panic Room.
He's good.
House of Gucci.
He's good in that, in that role where he's like not the main character. But once you start putting him into things that he has to actually act, I think
he can also just be the worst part in a good movie, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
he's got a good he's got a good like filmography, but like you said, Lucas, he's mostly a tertiary character or part of an ensemble.
Best
Yeah.
cast as Jesus.
See, I never wanted to watch this movie because I thought it kind of looked like Lady Gaga's EGOT, like underhand throw. You know what I mean?
That's what it came out to be.
Coming
yeah.
hot off the heels off. I'd say hot off the heels. I mean, 4 years ago. How long ago was the
2016?
Bradley Cooper one?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just
Star
wanted
is
a
Born.
different movie.
Sorry.
Yeah, Star is Born.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Damn. Well, Graham, I'm glad that you could get that off your chest, and I'm glad that we could laugh about it.
I've got 2 others.
But you got
I'll
2
let somebody
others.
else go.
Oh my
Yeah,
God. All
I'll
right.
let
Yeah. Let's
somebody
just
else go.
cycle through it so we can all kind of talk about some stuff, and then we can hit on some other things. Ethan, you're next on the list on my Discord thing, so why don't you go? I'm excited to hear about the dog shit movie that you watched on your flight home from Italy.
Yep. So,
Wait, were you in House of Gucci? Were you on the set of House of Gucci while you're in Italy?
yeah, I was. I was actually behind the scenes with Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
Shit, he was holding up the mic, man.
That's right. So, it's a movie that just came out recently, and
Okay.
it isn't that bad, but there are things about it that just like I despised. And it was the most recent from the universe of John Wick, Ballerina.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
And
I'll pull this up here. Yeah.
Wait, John Wick, the ballerina story?
so
What is
yeah,
this movie?
it's a story about this lady played by Ana de Armas, who is like an assassin from the same ballerina school that like John Wick is from. And so it's like in the same universe, but it's not about him, even though he does show up twice.
Oh yeah.
But
He's got a lot of screen time.
that's the
he
only
does
way
have a
they-
good
yeah.
amount of screen time. And it's
Yeah.
some of the most fun parts of the entire movie. But I would say that, like, one of the things that I like about at least the first John Wick movies, I think I've watched the first 3, but not the 4th one, I believe, is that I feel like, at least in the first one, there is, like, we're gonna teach you guys a new word if you don't know it. There's, like, verisimilitude. There is, like, the illusion that this is, like, a real place. And I feel like this movie just, like, does not get that at all.
Interesting.
Like, in John Wick, one of the things that I like, and a lot of people ended up liking with it, is that, like, when he's fighting people, he's, like, counting the number of bullets in his magazine, and he's, like, constantly changing weapons, and you get to, like, and that's, like, woven into the combat. Where, like, in this movie, she, whatever. I mean, it's an action movie, it's fun.
Yeah.
And she kills a bunch of people. But, like, I could probably count the number of bullets that, like, the 50 guys that she kills, like, they shoot. Like, everybody has a gun. And the amount of times where they will just, like, run onto screen just to get killed by, like, an ice
Some
skate.
90-pound.
Yeah, or that, or, like,
girl.
or
Yeah.
there's, like, a grenade that gets put on the other side of a table, and she's, like, just fine. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm dying. Or this scene in the trailer where she uses a fire hose to stop a flamethrower. I'm like, I'm dying, guys.
Yo, that's not
please.
how that works.
That's
The
not how
louder
that's
you
gonna
yell,
work.
the more powerful the water becomes.
So there's like a lot of
Anime
that
taught us that.
happens, and the flamethrower thing. That is the end where she gets the fire hose. There's like 20 minutes of her fighting that dude who is like the goon, like like the henchman, where the two of them have flamethrowers, and I'm like, sweet, a 2-person flamethrower fight. This is gonna be
Flamethrower
awesome.
duel. Yeah.
Half of the fight is just her behind a wall. The dude will shoot some fire, and then he will step behind a wall, and then she turns around the wall and shoots fire at him. And they just, like, go back and forth for, like, minutes.
Yeah.
Where they're just, like, they're not moving. They're just like, now it's my turn to lean out and shoot fire. And I'm like, it's a flamethrower! What are we doing? Please!
Were they like mixing in expose or anything?
No! I'm telling you, it's,
just-
like, the
just
most
raw dogging it?
boring flamethrower fight you could make in the world.
Oh,
which is...
no.
Oh, it was just...
Which is hard to do. It's flamethrower.
I know. And, there are just so many things about, like, all of the... There. It's just like she goes, like, behind a truck, and then she shoots it. And then he flips
she's
over the
like,
truck, and then
"Don't
he
worry,
shoots
I'm
it.
wet."
And I'm like, oh, my God.
Oh
you got
yeah, I forgot Norman Reedus showed up for 5 minutes.
Yeah, for, like, nothing. But, like, the amount of, like, dudes that have guns that just, like, never shoot at all. I'm like, man, at least, like, when it's Keanu doing his thing in the John Wick movies, like, people will walk into the rooms and just, like, they will just, like, get shot immediately.
So So real quick,
Like, look at, like, again, those are guys with guns just like running at her.
yeah.
They don't have a sword to do sword fighting.
I remember watching an interview with Anna talking about how she was excited for this movie to come out because her and like the filmmakers and the stunt coordinators were excited to bring the comedy back into the action. And I was like,
Wait,
was there comedy in the original John Wick movies? And by that
No.
she meant like the environmental, like clearly John Wick uses everything at his disposal to do what he needs to do, and there's a lot of that in this movie when she's in that town, that snow-ridden town,
Yeah.
and she's in that one like pub and she's pulling axes and knives and like dish. Oh dude, there's like 30 seconds of her breaking plates over someone's head, and I
Yes.
was like, okay, it's funny when it happens once, and then it was like she hit them with a plate, they hit him with a plate. She hit them with a plate, they hit them with a plate. She hit them with a plate, they hit them with a plate. I was like, all right, guys, let's go. Like, this is too much. You need to move on. Holy cow. Yeah, I agree with you, Ethan. This movie was not good.
And so, yeah, I had watched this movie on the plane after watching two what I would consider to be really good movies. And I was like, we'll just watch some action flick to like have a good time. And by the end, Shannon, who was watching a different movie, I'm like, do you see this shit? You see how stupid this is?
Oh man.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. I was like, I wanted a dumb action flick, and that's what I got, and it made me mad because it was like that stupid.
it was too dumb.
Dumber
yeah.
than dumb.
It wasn't like, yeah, I don't know. It's not like a cheesy Arnold flick from, you know, where I'm just like, I'm expecting it to be ridiculous. Like, because it was like, hey, we're taking John Wick stuff. I'm like, okay, there is like a certain level of, I don't know, combat that I'm like expecting or whatever. And then as we're going through it, I was like, oh, it just doesn't have,
It's just not enough.
it just doesn't have that X factor.
The magic.
And I don't think
Yeah.
it's because it's not Keanu. I think just like,
Sure.
you know, everything that went along with the combat, which I would say is one of the more important aspects to the movie, I was just disappointed with.
I was excited to see Lance Reddick in it. They just showed
Yeah,
him in the
I know.
trailer. He continues to pop up in things, even though I feel like he's been dead for years now.
I
at this
know.
point.
Hey, it's something to do in retirement.
Yeah, you would say that the John Wick movies that you have seen, that you though, Ethan, are good.
Yeah, I would say that they are
Yeah.
like the upper tier of action movies, where it's like, I'm like,
I would.
yeah, I'm
tend
like,
to agree.
these are good action movies where it's like, I can watch like action movies slop or whatever, but like, this is
Yeah.
not that. Well, I mean,
This
maybe
was-
this is,
Yeah,
but not
this
the
was
other
John
Wicks.
Wick. John Wick slop.
Yeah.
So obviously, I'm sure you guys all know. We'll just do the quick history lesson. So, director of the John Wick series, Chad Stahelski, was originally a stuntman. Previously, he worked with Keanu on like The Matrix and things like that. So, like, obviously, he has got a relationship with Keanu. He's fantastic at what he does. The stunt coordinator, like everything in the John Wick stories and movies are fantastic. So, Chad Stahelski, John Wick movies. Only produced Ballerina, was not attached creatively, really in any way. That was given to the role of Len Wiseman. Len Wiseman, who's probably
Hey.
best known for directing all of the Underworld movies.
Yeah.
The Kate Beckinsale
Yeah.
versus the
Okay.
Lycans movies. So I think that's
That makes
probably
so
where
much
the
more
mid
sense.
2000s schlock, spice gets sprinkled on top of the John Wick franchise. I also heard that this movie originally had way less John Wick in it and wasn't doing well with test audiences, and so they went back and rewrote it, and that's why he's in the movie for way longer than he needs to be now. I don't know.
Yeah,
man.
the first showing of him, I was like, this is an appropriate amount. And then they were like,
Yes.
we're calling him back in. And I was like, it's not his movie.
Yeah.
It's, yeah.
You're right. It wasn't his movie.
Yeah, that's rough.
Some may argue it wasn't even on this movie.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So.
It was the Underworld series, part 3.
Oh. It
That's
was
right.
basically Underworld Part 3, or like Part 7.
Yeah, you think
I
there's
was
only
just gonna
3
say,
of those
hold on, there's
movies?
like-
Yeah.
Yeah, man. There's a lot more.
There's probably
Yeah.
as many Underworld movies as there are Scorpion King sequels. Not counting the Mummy movies.
5.
Oh,
at
I think
least
there's
5.
5. I think there's 5 Underworld
yeah.
movies.
All right, so Scorpion King's got to catch up, I think. You think he's
That's
got
so
one
true.
more. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right,
That was
what's next
great.
on the chopping block?
Lucas, let's hear it. What do you got?
Oh boy, it's Jeremiah. No, I'm kidding. Listen. This is one that I think everybody can see coming, and by everybody I mean Jason can see coming from a mile away.
Are we actually gonna do this?
I quite honestly had the worst time of my entire life at this movie theater watching this movie this year, and
this
I
one?
swear to God I have never wanted to walk out of a movie theater, and this got me so extremely close to that line. I was riding a razor's edge, and it is Megapolis.
Yeah, saw that coming.
It's so
Two for Adam Driver.
it's so bad. I can't, bad doesn't even begin to describe this movie. I swear to God. I was sitting in the theater and I had an expectation of this movie, which wasn't much because I didn't watch many trailers for this. I just knew it was Francis Ford Coppola's last movie, his self-funded movie. I've heard a little bit of background to this movie that the filming environment and the creation of this movie was a little toxic to some people in terms of the actors and stunt people and crew not getting paid and being berated by Francis Ford Coppola. And this movie, when I say has no plot, it has a plot, but there's 17 of them. 17 plots all running at the exact same moment, and the dialogue tries really hard to make you think that, wow, this is so this is a movie for movies. This is a movie for this is a magnum opus.
They paid for this thing too.
It's the dialogue. I swear to
actors.
God, I have never had such a bad time listening to good actors say lines in a movie other than this. Like, this is truly the epitome of horrible dialogue, horrible directing, horrible CGI, horrible performances, just all over everything. There's not a shining light in this movie. Not one.
Shia LaBeouf is back.
Yes. There's so many actors in this movie, and it is truly just dog shit. Just the worst of the worst.
Wait, can I ask? Because I always assumed that this movie was based on the German avant-garde film.
You're talking about Metropolis.
Oh,
That's, I think,
Yeah,
1927 German Expressionism.
yeah. No,
I thought it was the same thing as well.
So
but
this
I
has
don't know if
nothing
it
to do
is.
with that at all.
No.
No, I think there's probably some themes in terms of the art style, like you were saying.
Maybe the color gold.
but not the story or anything like that. This is very much a
Slaughter, I was thinking the exact same thing when it came out. I was like, I want to see this if it's like Metropolis.
Yeah, but now that I see this, I'm like, wait,
sloppy,
none of that looks
self-indulgent
good.
movie.
Yeah. it's so, I truly there's a lot of bad movies that I'm like, hey, you should just go see it for the experience. This is tough. This is a tough one. This is
You
a
could
tough one to
experience a
say.
root canal, but you don't want to go for that.
Right. There was a moment in this movie where Adam Driver is drunk and high or whatever in a circus, I think is the premise of where he was at. Because at that point, you also don't really know where the hell he is, because it's not really explained all that much. And he's having an acid trip while he's drunk. And it's quite honestly the most disorienting. And I get it. But it was so painful to watch. So painful. That was the moment where I was like, I need to leave. I can't be here. But I had to stay for the rest of it just to see where the train wreck was going.
You had to stay because I was with you.
Also
I think
that
we only
too.
took one car, and we were an hour plus away from
Also
home,
that,
so.
yes. Yeah, I had to stay. Yeah.
You could have walked around the lobby and got some pretzels or something. I
Yeah.
don't know, but
Yes.
Dude, user reviews are 4.7 out of 5. There's no way.
It's
this movie is divisive for
Yes.
sure.
and
Oh yeah.
and I know Jason would have his opinions on it, and I get it. He says, he's talked about it before, and it being, the magnum opus of Francis Ford Coppola, and it's a movie for movies, and it's you got to respect the director of this. But it also goes back to Ridley Scott, directing directing dog shit movies. Just because you're a good director does not give you the benefit of the doubt that you can make dog shit movies and not be
A hack.
well, not I just at least have some sort of review, negative review on it. It's like, I think nobody's outside of that or untouchable in terms of negative
Sure.
reviews.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so that's it. That's my movie.
Nice.
Been waiting for that one.
Has anyone else? Oh, I guess you haven't, because this movie's not available on streaming anywhere. Like anywhere, you can't get it anywhere.
Which that's the other thing that
You can't get
is
this
funny to
movie
me.
anywhere.
I
No.
mean, it had no distribution.
No.
The man raised the money himself to make this movie.
Yes. So basically, he made the movie himself because he had gone for years to every single studio and producer and production company and any single fucking company that had any relation to movies. And he went to them and said, "Can we make this movie?" And every single one of them said, "No, this is a dog shit movie. We don't want to be tied to this."
Wow.
That started in 1983.
Correct. He has been
No way.
he has been
Oh
trying
yeah.
forever to get this movie made, and nobody wanted to touch it because of how bad it is. And then he puts it out himself, and it's like he puts it out and the streaming services could be like, "Wow, actually, you know what, you're right, we could get some money off this." We're still at the point where nobody gives a shit. None of the streaming we're in a money of we're in an age of money is everything. Money is gold. Let's do whatever we can. Any press is good press. Studios do not want to touch this movie.
I lie. It had distribution. Was distributed by Lionsgate, so that's fair. But also to put in perspective, the man spent $120 million of his own money for a $14.3 million box office return. So that's a 90% net loss.
Yeah.
Wow.
Big oof.
Yeah. I had
Big oof.
I had the worst time of my entire life watching a movie in this theater.
Dang.
That's all I have to say to end it.
It was not a great or entertaining movie,
Wow.
but I appreciate the vision. That's all I have to say.
It's okay. He's got $300 million in his bank, so he'll be fine.
He's got wine orchards and whatnot.
Yeah,
whatever. We
he'll be
support him
okay.
that way. So
Yeah.
He still made some
Yeah.
of the greatest movies ever. And that's okay.
You're true. You're
And that's
absolutely
okay.
correct. Yep. But this was not one of them.
No.
So good work, Lucas. Slaughter,
Yes.
what do you got? You got anything, or you just don't long for
No,
the
I
ride?
have one.
You can be.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
So to preface this, I have trouble hating movies. Like I said before, I like M. Night Shyamalan movies. I haven't watched Avatar, but most M. Night Shyamalan movies I enjoy. I have a good time. So, no, one of the films I want to read off real quick. A couple of the people in this movie, and just tell me, like, would you think this is a great movie or a bad movie? Funnily enough, one of the lead titles is Jeremy Irons. Second reference during this podcast.
Wow.
Also got John Malkovich, Jimin Husu, and Rachel Weisz, and a couple other people that are important, but I don't really know who they are, so I'm not going to talk about them.
Okay.
But yeah, this movie is Aragon.
I knew
From
it.
like,
Aragon.
I knew it. Once you said Jeremy Irons, I was like, it's Aragon. There's no other choice.
oh yeah,
Let's go.
dude, I can't. I was trying to figure out because I literally cannot think of a single movie that I hate, but I remember because this came out right when I was reading Eldest. I think it just came out, and I had finished reading it. We went for a school trip to watch this movie, and then I wrote like a
remember this movie.
15-page essay about how bad this movie was for my English class. So, yeah, no, the I don't even have too much negative to say. I don't even remember a ton of it, to be honest. I just remember afterwards being so mad that I never even read the next two books for Aragon. It completely destroyed the series for me. I was like, I can't do this. Dude, some of the CGI is worse than the video game that came out for it. Like, it's disgusting. They made a few plot changes that didn't really agree with, and then they took a lot of the vibe out, and then they made it more of like a kids movie. And I understand that, like, hey, it's a young adult, book, but
Novel,
it
yeah.
had some more darker themes, and I think they could have taken the source material, made it like a darker or better movie. And I don't know. So
This movie is hot on the trail of Lord of the Rings coming out in 2006. They wanted to capitalize
Yeah.
on fantasy adaptations. And
it looks like it's the same stuff. Like it looks like the exact same like texture pack from Lord of the Rings too. They were like, "Can we put this on our guns?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure, why not?"
holy
Good.
cow. That trailer was something
It was
else.
such a shame because like
I
they
saw
put
that
this movie
too.
out again. Like Slaughter, you're right. Like right after people were like finishing up Eldest, and that was like a pretty big book.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just like the momentum that they killed with this movie was crazy because again, this was like I don't even know how old we would have been. This would have been like I don't know, 15
It was
years ago.
2006. So
Mm,
I was 15
Middle school?
or
20
14.
years ago, right?
I was in 8th grade
Yeah.
class. That's how I remember
Yeah,
it. I was in 8th
exactly.
grade
Well, I
English
mean,
class
you
watching
know,
this
there
movie.
you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we were the the perfect target demographic for this kind of stuff where it was like a new fantasy series. They got dragons, it's cool. We got the hero's journey stuff going on.
They're
Love
even
that.
copying the shots.
I was gonna
of,
say,
like,
did you
them
see that
riding
establishing
straight
shot
out
of them riding the
frickin-
horses?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
This is a copy and pasta straight from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And I think
and that
it
was the.
like, I think it was like between the movie being bad and also like the series was originally pitched as 3 books.
This
Yeah.
Christmas.
And then I think when the 3rd book came out was about when this movie dropped, and then the author was like, I remember Christopher Paolini was like, "Hey, actually, it's going to be 4 books because I can't figure out how to finish it in this one." And like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like every single
always a good
person that
sign.
I knew that was reading the first 2 books, no one bought or finished either of the second 2.
Wow.
I know I didn't.
Oof.
Like, and like all momentum died. It was like the same thing like when Game of Thrones,
That's gotta be rough.
like when the final season of the TV show aired,
Hey.
like the zeitgeist, like everybody just like stopped talking about it as like
Well-
an entire series. It-
Well,
it,
also
like,
he hasn't
magically
written those
disappeared.
books.
I mean, that's true. He's writing a different series of fantasy books. He's put out like 3
Legend.
other books since that season came out. He's just never gonna finish A Song of Ice and Fire.
240p.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? We're just gonna
On-
watch it in 144. I mean, why not?
Oh,
at this
dude,
point?
on my screen, it's like 6 pixels moving
Oh
around.
man, honestly, it looks way better right
Oh
now.
my
So
God.
You're
So
welcome.
true.
Yeah, you're
yeah, it's
welcome.
great.
I think
Yeah,
No.
this is just a blur filter.
I
I
remember,
think
like,
that's
yeah.
how this movie's intended is on a VHS on a terrible TV
With the-
that
oh
Yeah.
my
you know,
god.
And you
the
should feel
first
that way.
plasma
CRT. Absolutely CRT.
Yeah. I
yeah, the
remember
first plasma
specifically-
ever made.
Specifically, 2 parts about this movie that were awful. Was one, like a huge part of the first book was the dragon growing up.
Yeah.
And in the movie, it's just a baby
30
dragon,
seconds.
and then they cut, and they're like,
Baby
it's a full, it's 1,000-year dragon.
I pulled Time Wizard. Yeah.
And and then the whatever, I don't remember what they're called. I actually do. They're called Urgles, if
Urgles,
I'm right.
Urgles.
And they're
It's
supposed to
just
be
dudes in
like they're
blackface,
supposed to be
like-
like yeah, I know they're supposed to be like troll guys or like you know
They're supposed to be orcs. They should be like orcs
Yeah,
from Lord of the
that's right.
Rings,
Yeah,
but they were
exactly.
like,
They're
we
like-
can't pay for that makeup.
yeah, they're like, oh yeah, we're just gonna make them like bald guys. So I was like,
they're supposed to be
okay.
like 8 feet
Uh,
tall. Like they're supposed to be like
Yes.
monsters.
I mean, they're supposed to be Trollocs from Wheel of Time, but you
Yes,
know, it is what
exactly.
it is.
Wow.
No, and then
Figure that
the
out.
Zarak are just dudes with wraps on their face. They're supposed to be like raven people. But then it's just like a dude and he's like,
That's true. That's true. I forgot
Yeah.
all about the bird guys, but you're right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But obviously, John Malkovich is playing John Malkovich, but he's supposed to be the evilest guy in history who like raises children to like get dragons and then kills the children and steals the dragon. Like it's a whole, and he's
Yeah.
just like John Malkovich. He's like, hello, you know.
Yeah.
And the worst thing is that the way that everything was acted was this was generally a very serious book, and then one of the main, so Durza, who's like the main villain through a book and a half, basically, is like a campy villain. He's like, ooh, why don't you bring me their heads? Ooh, saying stuff like that.
That's
Like
a good Malkovich impression.
Yeah.
that wasn't Malkovich. That was somebody else.
Is that Teddy KGB? Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone's Malkovich in this
Yeah.
movie.
No, everybody filmed this in, and the kid who plays the main character is just bad at acting.
Who is
overall,
it?
so.
Do we even
Ed
know?
Spieleries?
He's like a nobody. He didn't do anything after this.
I wonder if this was the reason he did nothing.
That he
What do you
ended.
mean? He was in
Oh,
a lot of
the-
bad movies
so the-
after this.
The director for this
plastic.
movie never was allowed to direct or even co-direct another movie after this.
Not Stephen Fangmeyer.
Yeah.
Well, his wiki is about a quarter of a page long, and there's no other movies listed on it. So I think you're right.
Yeah.
He directed Jurassic Punk in 2022.
What?
What are you looking at?
What are you looking at?
Google
Okay.
for Defen Fangmere.
Yeah, Stephen
Fangmeyer.
Oh my gosh. They let him out of his cage after 20 years.
I don't see anything about. I don't
Oh,
see anything
wait a
about
second.
anything else.
Stephen Fangmeyer is a girl now and goes by a different name.
That's the
Yeah.
only way you can get your directing career back is to change your appearance and change your name.
Maybe. Oh no, that's just a girl that looks like him. Never mind.
You
I
mentioned
don't know what's
Aragon
going
in
on.
Hollywood, and they're just like, kill this person.
Yeah.
You were the Aragon guy. No, we blew so much money on that movie.
Oh, that's what I wanted to look at actually. I just wanted to see how it did financially.
Oh, it killed it. It like I think it 10
Killed
times
it,
or 20
really?
times its budget. Yeah.
Wow,
Dude, they made
that's
a second
incredible.
Again,
movie.
there was a huge amount
Wait.
of weight behind this IP when it was coming
Definitely a
out.
lot of
Yeah.
hype. Oh my god, $100 million budget, $250 million box office.
And I'm telling you,
But
Yeah.
apparently
it
it
killed
was poorly
the,
received.
it killed the series.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. Awesome.
Good pick, Slaughter.
Yeah, that is great. I love it. I'm going to introduce you guys to one of the worst movies that I've watched in recent time. So, I don't know if you guys I know that we've talked about lists and things of that nature. Finally got Lucas onto Letterboxd so he can track his movies now. So, I thought for a moment, I don't know off the top of my head a lot of movies that I don't like. Oh, I'll just go to my Letterboxd and I will sort by lowest rank. And I'll look at some of the movies that I gave 1 star. And I looked at some of them, and there's not a lot, but there was a couple on there. But then I remembered that there was one film that didn't pop up on here because I refused to rate it because I wanted to rate it 0 stars. That movie is called Drop.
Oh. Oh.
It came out this year. And it's oh, hang on. So it's about this single girl who goes on a date after not dating for a long time. And then shit starts going awry. She starts getting weird text messages or airdrops from a random number in the restaurant.
Oh.
And
Top.
they basically are like taking her family hostage at home. And then the person is commanding her in power to do things around the restaurant regarding her date, regarding other people. She's sat by the window, and I think part of her character attribute is that she has vertigo, so she's like scared about sitting next to the window. But she continues to get these memes. She continues to get like these meme airdrops, which is all the movie are these kinds of things.
Oh my God.
And you get directions on what you need to do. So it very quickly kind of unravels into whoever is behind this has some kind of issue with her date. And so there's a lot of questions behind, is the date actually doing this? Who else is it? He's trying to be a nice guy and help her out. She's interacting with all these people in the restaurant, trying to figure out what's going on at home. And then clearly you'll see here in the trailer that we've got some bad guys at home that are going to take her kids hostage, hurt her kids, hurt the nanny or whatever. So the entire, so these big blocks of text that are coming up on the screen, that's not in the trailer. That's in the movie. Like,
Sure.
This stuff is in the movie. And
I'm kind of sold.
I refuse to walk out of a movie because I need to see the thing through. However, when this movie was done, I couldn't help but think that one of two things happened, and either the screenplay was written by AI or it was edited by some kind of AI bot to edit films to. Because everything about this movie was so like uncanny valley kind of like it feels like the idea of a movie. I don't know how else to put it. I mean, you can see there's so much stuff going on here, and it tries to kind of suspense, horror, thriller, action, all of these things. But like 95% of this movie takes place in this restaurant, and it's her looking at her phone. Oh, and then the window breaks, and then she gets sucked out, and the explanation there is that they're so high up that there's like a vacuum in space or a vacuum in the air that
Are
sucks
they in
her
the
out.
stratosphere? What do you
They're
mean?
like
the gravity.
They're like on the 20th floor or something, maybe the 40th. But
She's
yeah,
on a space
So-
elevator. Jesus.
yeah. that was like that was definitely like the selling shot of this movie, right? Is every single trailer here, it shows that window break and her fly out, and it's like, I am all for surrendering myself to the rules of the universe of the movie that it's in, and anything, but this is very clearly rooted in reality. And then when that happens and she gets sucked out the window, I was just like, I mean,
You can even see in this shot, there's buildings that are taller than the one they
I
are
was
in.
doubled over. I was doubled over in pain because I was laughing so hard at how bad this movie is. And there's, oh my
It's
god,
not even that high.
So to
There's-
me, so I thankfully didn't get to go see this when you went to go see this with the rest of our movie crew, and
yeah,
I think it's good for me. Happy Death Day, it pops up, it says it's from the director of Happy Death Day, and I think that's a fun horror movie that has come out recently.
Yes.
Which is crazy that this is by that same person.
Yeah.
But to me, this seems like, I don't watch very much SNL recently. I kind of watch episodes here and there. But to me, this seems like, one of those produced skits that aren't in studio, that they have filmed, not live. This
You're
seems,
absolutely right.
this
Yep.
looks like, the trailer looks like one of those skits where it's like clearly an SNL production, and it's supposed to be funny, and it's supposed to be like, there's a bit, and that's what the whole skit is. So that's what I'm getting
You
here, is
could've-
that vibe.
You could have almost made this movie like, I feel like if this was like, if we gave it no budget and it was shot kind of like you were saying, Lucas, or like shot in like a one take, then I feel like I could give it passes like on the other things, because it's like she's getting little messages on her phone.
Sure.
Things are happening at one other location
yeah.
that is just a house. So like if they had a budget of, like $300,000 to get this movie done versus the 11 million that they had,
Yeah.
it would make more sense to me, and I could give it, a few passes on this kind of stuff. But I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, the premise seems cool, but it sounds like they just didn't nail any of it.
To your point, Graham, $11 million budget, made about 30 million. So the directors, filmmakers are good at, horror.
Yeah.
Horror
They'll
is
still-
easy at being cheap and lucrative
Yeah.
that way. So that's
Yeah.
fine. And like you said, Lucas, he comes from the director of Happy Death Day, which I know is like a popular, more, I don't want to call it schlocky. It's one of those fun horror movies that
campy.
came out. It's got, it's campy. It's got the whole time loop kind of vibe, story.
It's
up
honestly-
so it's like, it's a fun time.
It's honestly one of the only Blumhouse movies that I think is watchable in the
Yeah.
current, Blumhouse repertoire or whatever,
Yeah.
I think they've strayed very far away from the light.
Yeah. You mentioned Graham, like maybe if it was done a different way. The one take, good for like chaos, because of the idea behind the one take, like you never you don't have a break, right? So like, but there's no chaos in this movie until the last five minutes. Everything about it is so quiet and so like exposition.
It's like sitting at a restaurant.
You talk, I talk, you talk. Yes, and you have to keep it quiet. You can't make a scene. You can't do anything. There's so many conversations that's just back and forth, and there were so many cuts in those conversations. The movie was the editing was giving me whiplash. I was disgusted by how this movie was edited,
Geez.
and that like doesn't happen frequently. I was just absolutely appalled. Technically, by what this movie was. To give you just like some quick background on it too, as we round out the conversation. Yeah, the director did Happy Death Day 1 and 2, and I guess there's a third one coming up. He did the 5th installment of the Paranormal Activity franchise, which to your point, Lucas, is like you get that Blumhouse stuff and it goes off the rails.
Yeah.
And it's at this point, it's like the brand is probably gonna just make money, so you don't need any like super interesting artistic vision behind it. It's just like, I need someone that can direct a horror movie to do Paranormal Activity, the marked ones, so that we can make $30 million or whatever. So, and he did the Freaky, which I think is like a Freaky Friday like retelling where Catherine Newton and Vince Vaughn split bodies, but Vince Vaughn was like a serial killer, so like she has to figure out how to get that. So the writers of this movie were Gillian Jacobs and Chris Roach. Only only titles they have under their belt are Truth or Dare, Fantasy Island. Haven't heard of either of these people or any of these projects. Megan Fahey, the lead blonde there, credited with 1 episode of Gossip Girl, 1 episode of The Good Wife, 3 episodes of Chicago Fire. She did her 1 episode of Law and Order SVU.
Can't forget the biggest one.
1 episode of the Jim Gaffigan Show. Is that what you're talking about?
No.
Or are you talking
Okay.
about 7 episodes of this weird show called The White Lotus? that
Oh
I've never heard
yeah,
of?
that's the one, baby.
Yeah. So
She is
and then
incredible in that season of The White Lotus.
Our leading man, Brandon Sklener, has 1 episode of New Girl. He's got some
Sklener.
more movie credits. He was in Vice, Emily the Criminal. He
He
played
is-
Burt Reynolds in 1 episode of The Offer. 2 episodes of Westworld, and he was in It Ends With Us, which I don't remember exactly what that movie is, but I think it's that legal drama between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni.
Yes, it is. And also he's in a TV show where it's a Yellowstone prequel. I can't remember it, 19 something.
1927 or
1942?
whatever. 42.
Ah.
Thank you.
19 something, but
No, I was
he's
definitely wrong. So
yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't watch any of the Yellowstone stuff. But he's also currently very I don't know if it's actual, but a lot of online people would like him to play the new Bruce Wayne / Batman in the James Gunn DC universe.
Interesting.
But who knows? I mean, fan casts mean nothing.
This movie's bad. Don't watch it. It was terrible. I will say, this is the worst part about having a video element, but isn't it so funny? She's so disgusted with that Subway sandwich below her
I
on the
know.
screen.
I've
I
been
mean-
staring at that Subway ad for like the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, you know what? If you want a fun,
Perfectly fortuitous.
if you want a fun, low budget horror movie, you should watch Deadstream instead.
Dead Stream.
Correct. It is.
Is that does that lead into or lead out of the upcoming Bone Lake movie?
I don't
boy.
think so, but that would be insane.
Okay.
I can't wait till we do another one of these bad movies, and Bone Lake is the #1 pick for
Yeah,
Jason
I
and
can't
I.
wait.
Yeah. So
Dude, I got 3
Um,
more.
I
hang
have
on
a
real
whole
quick.
list
It's-
too, baby.
It's 6:58. I had some other stuff that I want to get to. We could probably save for next time. Maybe we could quickly go over the movies that you guys have listed as well, or maybe we just
Oh,
make
I'm
this
gonna
a
save 'em.
2-part episode.
Yeah,
Um,
we got. Oh, there will be plenty of different movies that are bad in the future.
I'll leave you guys with this. Something that I came prepared to do that we will do in the next episode is a segment I like to call half-star heroes. This is where I go to Letterboxd and I sort by lowest rating, which is half a star, except I'm searching the movies that are our favorite movies, and we are reading the reviews that people leave on their half-star ratings of some of our favorite movies.
Oh, that
So-
sounds great.
I did School of Rock for me, Everything Everywhere All at Once for Graham, The Matrix for Ethan, The Batman for Lucas, and for Slaughter I did Pirates of the Caribbean. So
Okay.
Oh,
all of those movies that we love, we're about to hear people rip into and hear what their half-star reviews are. So we
okay,
give that
good.
to look forward to in 2 weeks or so. So
Sweet.
all right, guys, that was everything. I want to get you guys out of here so that we are respectful of everyone's time. So thank you for joining me again, and can't wait to talk again.
All right. We'll chat
See you in
soon.
the next one.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.